do on
I
this.
think it would be a good idea to.
All the guys Cooley in here, he never had anything to say.
All right, I better go get a mouse. I'll be back in a
Then
minute.
Marshall boom bombed out.
Yeah, that Marshall. You get rid of her.
I always like to read Nancy Kellner, she's entertaining.
And
Oh,
they're
her
breathing out.
pantry. Sad.
And he's right behind him.
He's here.
Wow. Did you bring a mouse?
What kind?
Mouse has withdrawal symptoms there.
I forgot my mouse.
Oh, you can't run a computer without a
I
mouse.
can't. Although I'm finding this is touchscreen, you'd be amazed. That's why I'm.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Pretty good.
You have one of them little deals in the middle of the keyboard?
I do, but I have the settings set to turn it off, and you need a mouse to get to the settings to turn it back on. I can figure it out,
That is a problem.
Well,
Wow.
because if you don't turn it off, if you accidentally hit the, it'll
Yeah.
lag play. Just share it.
No, you don't have what he's talking about.
the old like Dell computers used to have a little rubber,
Joystick.
little
The
joystick.
tray.
Oh, yeah,
Interesting,
yeah, well,
yeah, I remember that.
this now is that.
Yeah, no, I don't like
They,
that.
that drove, I can't, and Mike, until we got him a mouse, that's all he used. I don't know how he did it.
I'm really,
It's a
You have to
special
have
skill.
proper typing posture where you have your hands up. You know, the one that gives you the carpal tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
I still use it occasionally when I forget I have a mouse.
Well, I don't think you're as appreciative of yours.
No, I'm on the rat. I want the big one.
The one that doesn't move, where it has like the ball that you
Yeah.
move around,
I
whatever
haven't
those are
tried
called.
that.
Oh, like from the old PowerBook 180s?
Yeah.
That you had to take the mouse out periodically and ungum up the little rollers?
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
That would have been back when I was in about the 6th grade, I think.
6th grade.
My dad had one of those. Grayscale screen, 16 shades of gray. That was a big deal.
Mm.
Everything else was monocolor.
My first computer was a Gateway, remember the cow box?
Mine was a Capro.
No, I had a Macintosh, Macintosh Classic too.
Oh boy, that's worth some money. now.
Screen that big, black and white,
Yeah.
80 megabytes of RAM. No, or 80 megabytes of hard drive space. No way am I ever gonna be able to fill this thing out.
They have the floppy
Yeah.
drives.
I remember those days.
I don't.
I bought that first computer for $3,000.
Jeez.
Right now, I could probably get 10 if I'd kept it.
Article about coal,
A new one?
BLM.
Okay, sir, what do you got? Well, actually,
No, go ahead.
Well, I don't have a ton of new stuff, so.
Made it through the 4th though, huh?
Yeah, I didn't do a ton, honestly. I got back from that. I got back from that national convention and
Oh, yeah.
was pretty wiped out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had all the people there. We were hosting and
Oh, wow.
it was a lot. Yeah, I know you guys are all giving me shit for my shoes, so I had to go get
Yes,
some with the alligator print on them.
You know, the question is, I bet not a single person has asked if you can run faster in those.
No, I know, I didn't get the light up
Isn't that
ones.
disappointing?
I should've got the Skechers for kicking them, they
Yeah.
flash.
With the roller balls on the bottom.
Or yeah,
Still do
the
that?
Heelys,
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, so that was good, and now I'm just scrambling, getting ready for the fair.
Oh, yeah.
Got most everything lined up. We need to find one judge that I have to get a new person for, but we'll be alright. Other than that, we're pretty well set up for it. And
What week is our fair?
it is the 26th through the 2nd of August, so the sale is on the 2nd. And then we ended up, they moved the date, and then one of our processors got closed down, the one more,
Yeah.
for inspection, it was in the paper a while ago when it happened, but, so, I had to find some new processors, but luckily Forsyth can take quite a few, so we'll be going to Jordan, Forsyth, Cowboy Meats, and, Code Butte, just taking like they usually do. So, that'll be good. I'm gonna start working as soon as I can on county agreements, but that's kind of waiting for the, something Cheryl told me about, or, Cheryl. Anyway, waiting for the whatever meeting, financial something or the other, for the base salary.
Compensation board.
Yeah, the compensation board.
Yeah.
What
We
is
will
that?
be meeting with them shortly.
Today?
No, we haven't set up a date yet. So it's been talked, we need to do it.
Yeah, so then once that gets done, I'll get the base salary and then fill out our county agreement, get that done.
Go ahead.
We're talking about lowering it, what do you think?
I don't really know how all that works because,
His wages? Yeah.
well, I'm not sure how that works, cause I just signed another contract with MSU for more. So
Really?
then, yeah, I don't know, you
Yeah,
guys
you're
might,
doing all right.
wow, like cost of living increase, so it's like 2%.
How much, 2%?
Yeah, I think.
Well, see, Mako raised their wages 2.9%, cause I'm on that board. And I assume that's what the state set for the average inflation for the last year. Cause that's what they usually do, is just go by what the state says.
It was like 50,000 and then $2,800, so whatever that is, that's like more than 2%, I guess.
Yeah,
It's like
2.9%, I'd say.
It's like 4.5% or something.
Wow. MSU's generous. Tuition must go up.
Well, this is the most expensive state in the union, according to most of the surveys I've seen to live in, so, per wages, compared to the wage.
Probably could be an upside down expense versus what.
Yeah, it's not the most expensive state to live in, but it's the most expensive state to live in for what people get paid
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in
Yeah,
the
sure.
entire country.
I agree to that.
Yeah,
So it's, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that fix gets better at some point. We'll see.
Probably not.
Might take a while if it does, but, yeah, other than that, the county agreements doing fair stuff, which is fairly well set up at this point. Once we, I don't know when we wanna have our official budget meeting, I assume you'll probably do those in August sometime to go over that
Probably.
stuff. But, then we can talk a little more numbers on that innovation grant and the, coordinator position. And come to the decision with the fair board on whether we wanna advertise it as full-time, part-time, what the wage needs to
Yeah.
be, and then get a job description out there. And then see where we wanna pull funding from and what we have to shuffle around on the fair budget side.
And we're gonna wanna kind of at least work through that with some level of confidence for the budgeting
Yep.
this year.
Yep. And obviously we don't know when somebody's gonna start or not, so when we're gonna fill that position and have to start paying the wage, but.
Have you guys, I think we've had. I'm thinking about how you're gonna get a job description. You know, so there's probably some template.
Somebody's got to have.
There
it
might even
somewhere.
be one Mako or maybe AI, but, you know, it's like, it's called, is it Fairgrounds Coordinator or something, or what we wanna call it, but, just be thinking about what you want what we want that person to do.
Yeah, and I have that kinda laid position description that I gave to all you guys in the fair board.
Yeah,
I don't know if we wanna start there and then do some edits on that. and
well, that might not be
figure
a
out what we
bad
need
place to have to look
change.
at that.
And then the main thing is the decision of full-time, part-time. and then wages. And, I mean, that's the main thing, cause that's really what's gonna affect our budgets.
Well, and you know, just some thoughts on that. NACO published a statewide survey of what each county pays for a certain role. And Justin actually used that to argue for a substantial bump to his group. You know, but that might not, it'd be interesting if they have a similar role, because I don't know what we would wanna pay somebody like that. And then it's like, well, it depends on, well, I'm wondering, I don't think this, I'm not sure the county minimum of $16 is gonna attract a lot of, maybe it will, I don't know.
I don't know.
Depends on what you want that person to do. And, so no, you're right, we need to kick that around and think about that.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, it kinda depends on what we want that person to do. And then while we're doing that, we need to come up with a projection for the cash flow on the fairgrounds and possibly go through the agreements with the fair board and, you know, the use agreements for the fairgrounds with the fair board and see if we wanna keep steady on what we've been doing. Do we wanna change any requirements? Do we wanna change any deposits or use fees?
Excellent. So is this something we wanna maybe get with the chair or the secretary to put on the next agenda? I mean, how does this get on the agenda?
Probably Dominique for the fair board,
Okay.
yeah.
Cause I'm thinking, this is kind of a work session, I mean, what you're
Yeah, I mean, it's
proposing.
going over quite a few numbers, and like the projections on the income for down there are really dependent on what we decide for a fee, if we change the fee structure or not. And then we can go from historic event numbers for the last, I mean, we don't have that much information, but the last couple of years.
You do have Black Mountain information, other revenues collected,
Right.
you know. I don't think it's substantial at all.
No.
I don't think that fairgrounds is anywhere near self-supporting at this point.
No, I don't think so either, but
Then there's how much how much do they get in mill revenue, how much do they get in coal gross proceeds? Because I think just what we're wanting to do with that fairgrounds is a little bit of a shift in thinking, you know, where we want it to be utilized more, et cetera, which means that maybe the county investment needs to be rethought. I'm not sure how much money the county has been kicking into that. I think it's really only like, I can't remember how many mills it is, but it's not a lot.
coal gross proceeds is 9,700 about, 9,750, and then the mills for the fairgrounds,
You'd have to add up the real estate, the mobile home and all that, but
You know, I just went through the math here, if there were 6 campers, if we charge $25 per campsite for someone for an event down there,
that,
just 20 nights a month for 6 campers at $25 a piece would bring in 1/3 the money for the wage of someone to take care of the fairgrounds and the parks. It'd be about $15,000, but that's only for 4 months.
Yeah.
no, that's that kind of thinking says, hey, we need to get these things.
It's something to start with.
Yeah, we need to get them, people start using them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, our revenues between real estate, personal property, mobile home tax, all that motor vehicle tax, total revenues, including the user fees and whatnot, for 23 was 23,500, and then in 24 it jumped to about 34,000. 25 roughly was 32,500.
So that gives you something to,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just something to base off of. I mean, our expenditures have been bordering that so far. I mean, our expenditures have stayed to roughly 25,000 over the past 5 years down there.
yeah, so that's gonna change dramatically. And one of the reasons that the fairgrounds flush with cash, because they got $80,000 for replacing the roof that they never replaced.
Yeah,
That
that was from
insurance
that
claim.
hailstorm.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're really, I guess what you're bringing is we gotta rethink what we're gonna do at the fairgrounds, how we're gonna pay for what we think we wanna do.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if you look at, it's like you're saying, Mike, if you look at that jump between 22, 23, and 23 and 24, a lot of that was user fee, a jump in user fees, where it went from 24,000 to 33,000. I mean, a decent chunk of it was from an increase in user fees. Now, the order of the decisions we have to make is, you know, first I think you start with the going over the structure of the use agreements that we have for using the fairgrounds and the campsites. And then, you know, you take a look at that, you do some price projections based on the usage of the last couple of years. Based on that, on the new structure, or if we keep it the same either way. And then, you know, you're never gonna get it exactly right, but you try to figure what value added comes from that coordinator position.
You're dead on, my friend. That's exactly, but see, without that coordinator position, like, you know, we've still got the electrical, we got Jersey barriers, donation boxes, security cameras, new concession, new panels. You know, and you've been spending money like electrical, miscellaneous things, we just spent 52 grand or whatever on, although we got, that's the other thing too, though, dude. I think we did transfer that money that we said we would commit to that. When they did this, they wanted to spend 50, I think 52 or whatever. And we said we would pay for half of it in the sense that we would move cash, half of that 52 cash into the fairgrounds account. Can you check and see if we did that? I would almost think if we didn't, you would be in the negative cash right now.
By the way, Chris is down there today working on the electrical.
Good,
He
good.
wants to know if we would
Come out and see
go
him.
down and see him.
And Eric has been doing the animal barn side of
Has he?
things.
So this was for electrical?
No, it was for those panels down there.
Yeah, just a rodeo equipment. Pretty sure rodeo equipment. Yeah, and I don't think there's any problem. I don't know what we could change it to, but from what I know about the fee structure and stuff, I mean, we could get a little more aggressive with that. I mean, I'm not saying price people out of using it by any means, but.
No, but like what Mike suggested, it's like that's a hell of a bargain for people, relatively speaking.
It's a nice place.
And, it may not be, it may be just right.
We're gonna have to be thinking about, because we don't wanna be taken away from other people who charge for camping sites. Well, because we've gotten some backlash from Clyde Brewer, not Clyde, but from Dwayne Brewer.
Yeah, especially with our water, we got a fill station down there too, remember?
So we wanna keep that in mind, but there's nothing wrong with, if there's an event, or we keep it open for people to stop by if they wanna put their horse out for the night, or if they wanna do some training there for the night.
Yeah.
They could camp there and then move on.
Right, yeah, and I think there's a couple little things we could do, like those camp spots that are there now, we build some some pedestal, or what are they, they're not pedestals, doesn't have to be concrete, but even if it's just a,
Like a boulder? To
yeah,
protect
some
it?
gravel, like
Oh.
a parking spot, basically, and, you know,
Okay.
you lay some gravel, you smooth it out in a, you know, just a big rectangle you park your camper on, and maybe you have some, maybe not railroad ties, but, you know. Like
Yeah, that was, like, the sheriff called me the 3rd, and he said, he used the cluster F word for the way the parking's being managed, people were pulling in and taking up several of those water hydrants,
Oh, yeah.
and he said if you needed to get somebody out of that, if you had an emergency and had to get somebody out of how that parking was, you wouldn't be able to get in and get out of there.
Mhm.
And so, this is another thing this coordinator needs to do, is make sure the parking's guided, and when you mentioned railroads, they were saying, how can we teach people?
You just have to give them clear parking spots, which there isn't down there, so it's.
Well, I'm with you, yeah.
And
The
then-
other thing, I think you do to maybe enhance that sort of RV thing is put in a couple of fire pits and some picnic tables.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, stuff like that where maybe it, you know, try to keep the cost as down as you can, but little stuff like that could go a long way. And I think it's worth doing for those campsites and for the events down there. I mean, like you think about that family reunion that's going on down there now. I mean, something like that would make it nicer, and then just some general stuff like all those roads there. I don't know how they do it because I'm not the best at landscaping stuff, but you know, like those roads that go through there, if we could border those a little harder every once in a while, put a little bit of gravel down there, and then if we put a border on those that keeps that gravel in a little better with, you know, some type of landscaping
Like,
tool.
are you thinking like railroad ties or?
Well, that's what I would use at home, but I mean like, or there's that plastic border stuff that you can bury, then it has like a lip that comes up a little bit, and I don't know what the heck it's called, but, and then that also keeps the grass a lot nicer on the inside there, and
You could probably mow over it even.
yeah, and you could,
Run over it and not hurt it.
right, something like that, but then you can get that sod in a little bit better shape that's down there.
I did not see you come in.
Sorry, they hustled me in here.
You're like a ninja.
He's just ahead of the game, we didn't wanna penalize him for being early,
Did I miss something?
No.
just about everything.
But
We're
I-
talking about budget.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
right now we're on the fair stuff, fairground stuff.
Budget, their budgets?
Yeah, like how we're gonna try to change it.
You know, you could probably, I mean, so the thing, I mean, railroad ties are, I mean, there's gonna be a moderate expense associated with those, and I don't know what would be. I don't know how accessible it is to be able to get long logs in this area. You could divide it up, I mean, even with long logs, because the nice thing about that, and use that to border things,
Right.
because,
Or
I
show how
mean.
they need to park.
Right,
or big.
exactly, I mean, because if they get damaged, they're cheap to replace, I mean, I don't know
I
what it
was
would
thinking
cost.
about that.
That's an
too.
excellent-
You know,
that's-
you
that's
gotta
a
get-
rustic
cut some
one, too.
trees.
To get somebody to just, I mean, you know, to get a logger to just, I mean,
Even I can do that.
Come
I
and
was thinking about that myself.
drop it, you know,
Cut
a
some trees
huge,
down.
I mean, a semi-truck full of logs, just drop it off, and then we move them wherever we
Yeah.
want.
Right.
Use that
And if they
big
rot,
skid
just
steer
pull them
bar.
out and put another
Exactly.
one
Right. Yeah, just something like that. Some campgrounds use like big rocks.
So are you talking about in the
Well, I was thinking
fairground?
Yeah, the
campground?
fairgrounds, yeah.
Rocks are kinda hard to find around here.
Yeah, they're
Everything's
tough, you know.
sandstone.
Actually, I like the log idea. I think it's cheap, I think it's effective.
Now,
And I think the appearance would actually, it wouldn't
Right.
detract.
And they're
but
they're cheap to replace if they get damaged.
yeah.
I mean, the only real danger that we'd have is, you know, somebody goes down there, gets loaded up and decides to try and cut it up.
Well, that's probably gonna
Well,
happen.
you could, a lot of places, I mean, when we go camping, if there's logs, they're in the ground.
Yeah, they're spiked in the.
That's what we're talking about. You know,
Yeah.
half bury them almost.
You probably have to.
Well, no,
drill
they
a
just
hole and
spike them.
Oh,
They
you
spike them on each
okay.
end.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If it's not a concrete barrier, What about, I mean, if you wanna go out and cut down trees on your property, you have property enough to do it. But, I mean, the Hoots have those, like, telephone pole looking logs, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes they have well, I've had to buy a whole bunch of railroad ties. And at the time, they were $12 a piece, they're probably $24 a piece now.
Well, we can use, cause we've been, shoot, Dad and I've been cutting down trees for 2 years now, like, we've got one of them tree cutter deals that, if we wanted to get trees, we'd get them down there, or rocks for that matter. I just know some places use the big rocks too, every like 10 feet. But I'm saying you're never gonna really get that, you're never gonna get that sod and grass down there very nice, as long as people are pulling and parking everywhere.
Right.
And now, if we did that, we would have to make some more designated parking besides those camping spots.
True, but I think the parking, per these big events, needs to have parking people directing people.
And they tried, but what, I mean, can we do something in a different area across the river and then have people
Well,
walk
they said we
over
can't
the
use the
bridge?
cowbell, right? Or can we?
No,
What
it's
about
a camping space.
to the west, across that west bridge by the walk trail?
Oh,
There's that
That's
little
perfect.
parking area that's right there, but if we expanded that to like event parking.
Does the,
that's
well, yeah,
city-
that's a
city
good idea.
land is the only
But
thing.
I was gonna say, I think it's city, or on this side, like on the fairground side, you know, that road goes and there's the utility building or whatever, where there's that parking. What about up where it follows the river? And people can
Where they
use,
burned that, you mean?
huh?
Where they,
It needs to be looked at, it needs to be
Cleared out.
cleared out, because there is some,
But I
there's a
think
place
Aaron-
on the
I
other
think-
side of the berm that could be
I
used as
think
well.
Aaron Belleville owns that up against
on the
the,
other side of, okay, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So if there's
actually,
city land there, we're gonna give the city some land over in the Bear Columns.
Ask them if they can just make
Maybe
that a
there's a
parking area.
swap, a land swap.
Just 1031 it.
So, we'll give you this and actually, before we just give it to them, the Dizzy Bee,
And across the street from
and
the
across the
business.
street say, hey, we'll give you that, but we would like to have this.
Right.
For
And then
parking, and tell them why, for parking, for
if
events.
you know, something like that, and people will complain they have to walk farther. Every fairgrounds in the state, there's separate parking and you have to walk in fairgrounds. I mean, that's normal. You shouldn't just have people parking 15 feet from the arena. That's not normal.
Well, what I saw, I've been to a couple of them, and it's usually wet. They park underneath those cottonwoods, and they're spinning their tires, and
Making
You're,
a
you're
mess.
never gonna get that place down there
Yeah.
looking very nice with the parking situation the way it is.
Yeah.
You gotta try to make it an actual park. On the one side where we put in all the hookups there, that's, you have those parking spots where the hookups are and that's it.
Campers.
And then the whole other side from the arena to the baseball field, we don't need people parking on that stuff. Have it a nice park.
That's for what's
nice
going on,
sod.
that's for event people.
Right, and you can have people pulling in putting up, vendor deals and
Yep,
things
yep.
like that, that's fine,
Yeah.
food trucks maybe and things like that, but it shouldn't just be general parking. Cause I remember like at our fairgrounds, you had to walk a ways, but I mean, that's kinda just how it is. If you wanna keep something nice, you gotta walk, a mall, it's not like
That's
you get a park in the middle of
that's
the
a great
mall.
idea, really. trying to find
it's an
some
excellent
parking.
idea. And I think it's all doable.
I don't think it would cost that much, if you could do that swap, but,
Well, and then the other thing, like I said, if there's anything if there's certain things in this county that are worth investing in,
It's the
the
fairground.
fairgrounds, getting the fairgrounds managed properly and just some modest improvements like we talked. Because that's an asset, that's a community asset.
and I think you just have to start treating it more like a park, we'll block off those grassy areas, people can't just pull in there. That'll help us, be easier to take care of that way and get the sod nice and everything. Designate parking spots, and kinda go from there, and none of that stuff would cost that much,
Well, it might surprise you though. I mean,
Well, it
but-
probably
but
would,
just so you know, also, so you know, we've already bought those Jersey barriers to go in front of these pedestals and these hydrants to keep people from backing into them. I don't know if this changes that, Cause we're clearly gonna have to make lanes out of logs or whatever, so people know that,
Right.
somehow let them know that you can't just, I just can't believe